Well, tonight being the night of epic proportions being between AEW's Fight for the Fallen and NXT, here are some key points to think about as we review both shows. On the AEW side of things, we'll talk who is managing Nyla Rose, did FTR stand out in the tag team division as we expected, and who walked out as the AEW World Champion. As for NXT, what was next for Keith Lee? Who got over between Damian Priest and Cameron Grimes? And did Tegan Nox become the NXT Women's Champion as she hoped she did? I'm your host, the OGPC, aka the JKD, with the Dream Machine himself, MC MIKE, Mike Randall. And you're listening to the CWR Podcast.
All right, thank you, and welcome to the CW Podcast. Remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell to get us, keep getting the show. Hit those likes, and big ups to bantu.fm.airtime.pro. That's the station that we will be on starting next week. Thought it was going to be this week, but it starts next week on Monday. All right,
let's get started with AEW Fight for the Fallen. There were some segments, and Joe couldn't believe it was actually before match the whole show. But let's start off with the opener, as it was the TNT Championship match between Cody and Sonny Kiss. Now, I'm pretty sure you're a big fan of Sonny Kiss, and you're looking forward to her getting a bigger push. And obviously, she got what she just got. She got the push in the TNT match and did very well in the match, actually.
Oh, he did. He did a good job. Some of his punches and some of his blows were a little bit too soft for my liking. He was laying it in stiff enough. That don't sound right. We talking about, but anyway, he didn't. It just wasn't a stiff enough match for me. I just feel like he should have came a little bit stronger, but nonetheless, good job.
Anyway, Cody hit the crossroads, which led to a successful title defense, which I give this match a B-. I'm gonna give it a B- on this one.
Yeah, I also give it a B- because of the lack of aggressiveness on Sonny Kiss's side. I think Cody had the aggressiveness going, but not him.
With that, let's move on to the tag team. Our first tag team match of the night, FTR versus the Lucha Bros. I thought it was a pretty compelling matchup. It was okay for me. I thought it was gonna be more better than it was promoted, but I thought it was gonna be a better match for me. However, FTR came out with the win. But the bigger story was that the fact that after the match, the Elite came out, which FTR and the Elite apparently was gonna drink beer until FTR poured beer all over Kenny Omega. We looked at Kenny Omega going off, which was the match plus the segment, I give it a B+ actually.
And I like the way they did in the commentary, where they try to make FTR sound dastardly by pulling the mask off of Ray Phoenix, and that caused him to try to guard his face. Got rolled up for the pin. Smart work by FTR. I give it a B.
Next up, we lead to our first segment, which Jericho has something to say about Orange Cassidy, saying that his career is dead, and that pretty much, he might not be successful afterwards, maybe. Which, overall, he was pretty much putting himself over Cassidy the whole time. As Orange Cassidy came out, which I didn't expect, until he pulled, apparently he had a button or something like that, and he raised it in the air, clicked it, and all of a sudden, orange juice fell off the sky, splashing the inner circle with it. I mean, and let alone on a $7,000 jacket, and let alone Jericho was being tossed by a towel that had the face of Orange Cassidy on it, taunted him even more, and let alone he had to do commentary afterwards. So overall, this whole segment, which is beyond crazy, I give it a C. I mean, because first of all, Orange Cassidy should, I'm a fan of Orange Cassidy, but I think he should just go ahead and let it go.
Yeah, I they should let this storyline go.
Yeah, so I mean, what are you gonna continue to rival or something with the next pay-per-view?
Well, I know one thing. I'm getting tired of they might have to split Santana Ortiz, because Ortiz is just acting too big of a fool. I see now why they have producers and things like that over wrestlers because they don't know how to control their so-called creative side. And they end up doing just idiotic things.
So what'd you get this segment?
I gave it a D.
I gave it a C. However, we'll move on to the next tag team match, a 6-man tag team match between the Jurassic Express versus the Elite. I mean, it was also a pretty compelling matchup, actually. I thought it was pretty good work. And not the brightest thing Kenny Omega has ever done, considering that he was pretty much fighting another child. Not the first time he ever fought a child, also. But
Marco's son.
But you know, the fact that he just like after the match, it seemed like he was gonna give sportsmanship to Marco's son, the Jurassic Express. He didn't. He just beat the crap out the man, seriously. Which Matt and Nick had to hold him back. So I think with that, I think it was a pretty good matchup. So I'll leave it to an A. Let alone they make it Omega more of a big deal apparently.
Yeah, I think they're getting ready to go ahead and push him as a single and go ahead and split him and Paige up. And a big feud is going to be between those two. But it's going to be intriguing on who AEW really wants to push out there the most. Would they rather have a younger person in Paige who is more Americanized type of wrestler, got an old school bunkhouse style, or would they want a newer, older person, but he has that new age style of doing things? He's not as crisp as he was in New Japan. So I believe the best bet would be Paige.
So what do you give this match?
I wasn't a big fan of it. It was the same old C.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to yet another tag team match, which I don't see why AEW is such a big fan of tag team, but I'm crazy about tag team division, but there's so many tag team matches though. The Nightmare Sisters versus MJ Jenkins and Kenzie Page. Which, in the match, Allie seemed like she did much of the work because she did pin MJ Jenkins, and pretty much it seemed like that she's not getting the proper respect from Dustin Rhodes as Brandy's doing, as she got more of the attention, more than Allie. So for me, I would give this match up a C+.
I'll give it a D-. I guess they're trying to go somewhere with the story here. It's going to end up being a singles match between Allie and Brandy Rhodes. You see Allie keep getting brushed off a little bit. Then it seemed like Brandy giving like a fake friendship thing, like she's a friend, but she's really being fake about it. So
after this match, this led up to Dasha, interviewing former AEW Women's Champion Nyla Rose after asking her who was a manager, which her manager was none other than Vicky Guerrero. Which I'm kind of interested to see how this is gonna go down. So
I am, but she really doesn't need a manager.
I'm gonna see how I wouldn't mind seeing Nyla Rose being I guess a 2-time AEW Women's Champion. But
hey, speaking of ladies, how about your girl, man? What's wrong with her nose, man? Her nose still messed up.
I don't even care about Britt Baker, to be honest. I don't even care about Rebel.
Hey,
I'm more care about Big Swole more than Dr. Britt Baker.
I ain't gonna lie, I care about Rebel myself.
As we're moving on to our AEW championship match between Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage. It was a pretty good matchup for no surprise about. However, the ending definitely surprised me considering Taz played a part of the end, which he threw a orange towel to after he was concerned about the LTW champion Brian Cage. He was concerned about Cage's health, which led to Moxley winning the title. However, Brian Cage did attack Moxley, which led to the lights being dimmed out, which led to the return of Darby Allin. So I'm looking forward to see what they're gonna do with Darby Allin. Is he going against? That's gonna be Cage's next rivalry, or is he gonna try to challenge the AEW champion? Like, what is it?
No, he's not going back for the title again. I already know for a fact that it's gonna be Darby Allin and Cage. Cage worked really good in this match. They told a story, and that was a great thing about the match. They told a story of him being out for surgery for 5 months earlier this year. and it really culminated into the ending of the match. Toward the end, they kept with the Kimuras, the arm locks and all that, so it really tied right into what happened to him in real life, and that's why it was so believable. And it was believable that Taz would do something like that, being a former athlete himself who had gotten his neck broke before. So definitely great storyline. But one thing you notice about AEW, real quickly, that world title feuds don't last long. The last two or three. You just had Jake Hager, he was a one-off. This is a one-off, and I think the one before that was a one-off. They don't have long feuds for their world title.
I mean, at this point, they just started. So, why do you need to do an extended rivalry?
Well, they've had extended rivalry before, with Cody Rhodes and Jericho. That was extended.
Was it for the AEW World Championship?
Yeah. Remember, he couldn't get a title shot no more.
But then again, it's Cody. So do you remember the fact that I didn't watch AEW at the time? So. And
then you had that was a long program with Jericho and Moxley.
So with the Moxley and Brian Cage match, I would give it a B, and also because of the fact that we retired Darby Allin. So overall, the whole show, based on my grades, will probably be B- or C+.
I'll get a B-.
So moving on from AEW's Fight for the Fallen, we move on to NXT, which, as the first question is, what was next for Keith Lee, double the champ, as in a promo, he put off a good promo, as we still have our concerns about his promos, but either way, overall, his promo led to the fact that he will be defending his titles against Dominic Dijakovic.
He has to stop sounding like Professor Hulk. He got a big body, but sounds like...
That doesn't mean nothing, man.
But sound like Pee-wee.
I don't care. I just don't care, because at least it's better than having Keith Lee look like a monster. Like, think about all the monsters Dirty Superstars in history so far.
Bro, that ain't
no. Big Show. What is he doing? He's doing Netflix, which is actually good for him, actually. And he's going to pretty much lose to Randy Orton.
Well, his show dropped on Netflix.
Then actually, how do you know that?
Because they said.
Then Mark Henry. Where is he at right now?
He retired. The dude been in wrestling.
What's he been doing for his whole career, pretty much? Been a joke until that one moment. And it wasn't even meant, the character wasn't even meant for him. So another joke, let alone.
Well, they started him out a joke from the beginning.
Then Lawrence Sullivan, where is he exactly?
He talked himself out of career.
Then look at Braun Strowman now. You can't even take the man seriously as world champion.
I don't take him seriously.
Exactly. I mean, people.
But you can't come out there, big body, 350 pounds, and saying, "I'm gonna defend my title."
First of all, he doesn't sound even sound like that.
Yes, I do.
Either way,
Keith Lee, I'm limitless.
Either way, I give the promo a B. Overall, which led to the first matchup of the night: Damian Priest versus Cameron Grimes. Who got over? Exactly. It was a pretty good matchup. However, it wasn't as great as like the first time they were at it. To me, but overall, man, Damian Priest. I'm so glad the man finally got over. Finally, man. I mean, I'm a big fan of Cameron Grimes, but I was just really happy that Damian Priest. I'm more happy that Damian Priest finally got over. Finally.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't really win the war, but he won that one battle. So.
But I do like the fact the ending came up, the sequence they had. Cameron Grimes getting tangled up in the rope, and Damian Priest hit him with that enziguri.
They hit him with the reckoning.
Yeah.
Off the second rope. With a good win, and then after the match, the Archer and Infamy made a statement on Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic that whoever wins that match, he's coming straight for him. And with that, I'll leave that to a B- actually.
Yeah, I'll give it about a B-, B.
So next up is the girl who claims she's ballsy, Shotzi Blackheart, against the tall Australian herself, Indy Hartwell.
The crybaby.
So obviously, I did not think Indy Hartwell was gonna win. I thought maybe Shotzi Blackheart was gonna win, then Robert Stone's gonna come out, but instead, Robert Stone had different plans by costing Shotzi the matchup. Well, him and Aaliyah actually. However, one thing I don't like, and this is not even dealing with Robert Stone. Well, it did Robert Stone, but commentator wise, Tom Phillips. Short disclaimer, man. This man's really into this Robert Stone band for real though. If you just heard that commentary, man, that man was so into Robert Stone.
Well, Tom Phillips, he's a little bit too much. I think he should remain a two-man booth, even though I know he has to be there because Mauro Ranallo and Bell Phoenix can't be there physically, but I'd rather have the monitor sitting up there. And they doing it because he's messing up the chemistry that they have together on commentary. I can see Aaliyah and Hartwell being a tag team. Oh, and the reason why I call Hartwell Crybaby, she was wrestling Shayna Baszler, and Shayna Baszler kind of twerked her arm, stomped on her while I was in a bad position.
She was a ladder, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So with this, I give it a B- only because first of all, they're pushing younger other stars now. So they're pushing like more stars that we're not familiar with. So I'm kind of glad about that. I'll get on the B- for that one.
C+, only because I'm intrigued about where the storyline is gonna go. So I want to see where it's going. So I won't give it a D. I'm tempted to, but I want to see where it's going.
Speaking of Robert Stone, for those who don't know, Robert Stone was apologizing to Killian Dane, which led to a point where Aaliyah pulled out a drawing by Dexter Lumis, which Killian was pretty upset about, which he wanted a match with Dexter Lumis, which I'm really excited about. And I'm looking forward to see how this is going to go down next week. However, after the matchup, this led to Legado del Fantasma make an excellent promo on how well these three are going to be such a great team, how much they're going to make a force, how they're going to be like one of the greatest forces on NXT and probably 205 Live, even though they're the only force in 205 Live.
I think these guys got something. They got what you call it.
I mean, Santo Escobar, he got it. Raul Mendoza, despite the fact he lost so much, he got it. And then now Joaquin Law, same way.
He needed it because he was well. But it makes him look good that he's with the other two guys.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to see the future for Legado del Fantasma. I'm thinking Cruiserweight champion, tag team champions. That's all I can see right there. I'm looking forward to see their future in NXT and the 205 Live brand. As we move on to the NXT and North American Championship match between Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic.
You didn't say that right.
The NXT and the North American Championship.
Right, Dominik Dijakovic versus your champion, Keith Lee.
So you claim this match wasn't as great as the other matches were.
No, not their other matches they've had on the indie circuit and prior in NXT earlier.
For one thing, I'm not for count the indie circuit because this is a whole different thing. I was just gonna say NXT general wise.
NXT in general, it wasn't. That was the worst one.
I think it was pretty good. I mean, because they have so much respect for each other. I mean, all these matches they had. I mean, from the battles on NXT, then their first ever takeover match together at Takeover Portland this year.
But respect makes you go at somebody harder. So you can, because you don't want to go half tail against someone. If you got respect for them, and they were just going half, they were not going full motion. They were going like half gear at each other.
Well, either way, at the end of the match, Keith Lee did hit the BBC, aka the Big Bang Catastrophe, to get the win. However, Scarlett Boudreaux came out with a bag full of the hourglass that Keith Lee crushed actually, and along with Dijakovic, he weighed in on the match between Keith Lee and Cross, which he claimed that Keith Lee was going to come out as the victor, which Cross came in out of nowhere and then just like came up from behind him. Also, apparently they're going to have a match next week, which Cross actually attacked him. So I'm looking forward to see how that will. I'm looking forward to see how NXT is going to go down in general next week.
But I really believe the feud that's coming up with Karrion Kross against Keith Lee after you get through with Dominik Dijakovic, I'll say he'll win the North American title for Keith Lee.
And with all that whole match, with the segment, and then the Dijakovic, so I'm getting all of the A actually, or all that bound up together.
Just because it's Keith Lee, B-.
So next up, we move on to a catch grappling match between Timothy Thatcher versus Denzel Dejanay.
Wait, my boy Denzel Dejanay.
Now, the latest edition of, and I'm pretty sure I got this right this time. Thatch ass, Thatch can.
Thatch ass.
That was it. That's just Thatch can.
Thatches. You said it.
That's just Thatch can. Whatever.
There you go.
Put so much emphasis on the problem. Timothy Thatcher pretty much once again tortured student with the once a brutal move that could happen to your arm. No matter what, it's an arm breaker either way. Fujiwara armbar. That was a compelling matchup. I mean, it was a quick catch grappling matchup. However, Thatcher quickly made Denzel Dejanay tap out with a half Boston Crab, which led to only Lorcan coming out to see a part 2 of this matchup.
And that would be a beautiful match to see again, because the only way Lorcan lost the first time was he left his arm hanging out, and with a shoot fighter, you can't leave your arm hanging out. He tried to stick his hand in his mouth and fish hook his mouth and make him give up a hold, and he gave up his arm and turned into another hole. I mean, and don't think these things on wrestling is fake. You put some of these holes on somebody, for real, you can seriously hurt someone. So just because you see these guys sitting up in the mood for 30, 40 seconds to a minute, shoot, you're going to tap within 5 seconds if it was real life.
And with that, I lead that whole situation to a B- actually.
Yeah, B- for furthering him as a threat.
All right, now it's time for our NXT main event, as it was the NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai versus, as most people claim her as the comeback girl, Tegan Knox. But before I want to get to that matchup, I want to say congratulations to Tegan Knox for coming out on her situation, of her coming out pretty much, of being a lesbian. And now to the matchup.
What?
And as we get to the matchup,
why would you want to congratulate her on that?
Why would you not?
Because that's her business.
NXT Women's Championship match. Tegan Knox, Io Shirai. I see you, Tegan. Tegan Knox put a lot of offense into this match along with Io Shirai. I think Tegan Knox would have got the win if she just capitalized on Io Shirai hitting her knees on the steps. Put little leg holes on her probably got over a little bit. Either way, it was an okay matchup for NXT Women's title match with Io Shirai getting the win. And I think for you, the most satisfying part about that whole segment was that after the match with your girl Dakota Kai, came out of nowhere, just boot the mess out of Io Shirai's face.
I mean, put a footprint on her face.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
I know she got a Reebok in her face.
But with that, I think the match was pretty good actually.
It was an okay match.
I'm not gonna say okay match. It was a pretty good match.
It was alright match.
But was it?
I don't think it should have been main event.
I mean, it was promoted that way anyway. So I mean, what are you gonna say? How about you tell Triple H that to his face? Either way, Dakota Kai came out. Dakota Kai just laid out the champ, which I give it a whole A overall. And based on my grades, this is pretty much a whole B to a B plus maybe.
I think I'll give Io Shirai, since they did mesh together pretty good. There was a B effort. As far as NXT slimly gets a B over AEW. There was something about AEW that was kind of off. There was a couple segments I just threw. Actually, it wasn't the wrestling. It was like the segments that kind of threw me off a little bit on AEW. If I subtract the segments, AEW won. But with the segments and everything overall, NXT won. Their segments told a more logical story. Things were more serious. It leads to something else. So that was going on with that.
So with this, to me, I feel like NXT would have beat them, but it's pretty obvious why AEW won, because of course I had another pay-per-view event, which I'm not really upset about. So congratulations to AEW for finally getting a win after 3 weeks. And I'm gonna let my co-host end this.
Hey, What's your favorite radio station? I know what mine is. BantuFM.airtime.pro. Check it out. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell to keep getting this series. Also, DDT those likes right square up on his head. And I want all y'all people out there, first of all, show love for yourselves and spread that love to other people. Let your light shine on others. And just be you. And don't worry about being nobody else. Just be you. Love others, love the world. All right.